There are five nutrients, and the five nutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fat, vitamins, and minerals. And these five nutrients are classified into macro and micronutrients. So, macronutrients are those nutrients which we consume in large quantities, and micronutrients are those nutrients which we consume in smaller quantities. So, the macronutrients are carbohydrate, proteins, and fats. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Also, the macronutrients provide energy in the form of ATP, whereas micronutrients don't do that. So, if you look at the carbohydrates are actually compounds which are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So if you look at it, this is the basic building block of a carbohydrate, C6H12O6. So if there is only one of this, we call this monosaccharide. Mono means one, and saccharide is a sugar. And what are the examples for this? We have examples of monosaccharides, which are glucose, fructose, and galactose. So we can have glucose, fructose, and galactose. So the basic classification of a carbohydrate is monosaccharide, which is only one sugar unit if you look at it. Now, what we could possibly do is we can have two of these monosaccharides together. Like, for example, I can have a glucose and a glucose, or a glucose with a fructose, or a glucose with a galactose, or a fructose with another fructose. So, any combination like this, where two monosaccharides are joined together, is called a disaccharide. So, this is a little more complex sugar. Then what we could do is we can have many monosaccharides joined together. Like I can have glucose with another glucose, with another fructose, with another galactose, anything like that. So when I have long chains like this, well beyond 3, 4, 5, so those are called as polysaccharides. So the classifications of carbohydrates are monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. So in our day-to-day usage, we call these, which is monosaccharide and disaccharides, as simple sugars, and the polysaccharide is what is called as the complex sugar or the complex carbohydrate. So this simple carbohydrate, this is complex carbohydrate. So simple carbohydrates get digested very easily, very fast. Complex carbohydrates take longer to be digested. So examples of simple carbohydrate would be the table sugar that you and I use for coffee, tea, honey, chocolate. So anything like this would be termed as monosaccharide or a disaccharide or simple carbohydrate. And your generally your vegetables, some fruits would be categorized as the complex carbohydrate. So that's the classification. Next we have, and you should know that 1 gram of carbohydrate gives you 4 kilocalories. Then we have the protein. Proteins are compounds which are made from carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. So we have an amine group, and what happens is, depending on what I add here, it becomes a different amino acid. So you should understand proteins are actually made up of amino acid, and one amino acid is different from another amino acid depending on what I am putting here. Otherwise, all amino acids have the same base configuration like this, but depending on what I'm putting here, it becomes a different amino acid altogether. So now we can have all these amino acids, about 20 different amino acids, can be grouped into two categories: essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. This is how we are grouping it: essential and non-essential. Essential amino acids are those amino acids which we cannot manufacture in the human body. We have to get this from an outside source. So we have to get it from the diet. So whatever we are showing you here, these are called essential amino acids, and these need to be procured from the diet. Whereas the non-essential amino acids, what you're seeing here, all these can be manufactured with the help of the essential amino acid. Like for example, this first one maybe is able to manufacture this, and this one maybe this one, the lysine is able to manufacture this and this, like that. So non-essential amino acids are not required to be taken in the diet because we are able to manufacture the non-essential amino acids with the help of essential amino acids in the human body. So there are a few of them where we have these double stars. These are called conditionally essential amino acids. Conditionally means under certain situations, these with the double star need to be treated just like essential amino acids. So normally non-essential amino acids, we don't need to get it from outside. But under stressful conditions, like you exercised a lot, under the very stressful condition like that, these non-essential amino acids, these conditionally essential amino acids need to be procured just like essential amino acids. That's the meaning of it. So remember, the classifications of proteins are essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. Next, we have the lipids or the fats. So these lipids or fats are classified as saturated and unsaturated fats. So what's the meaning of this? So if you look at the fat is actually made up of long chains of only carbon, like that, and hydrogen. So we have hydrogens attached to this, like that. So you don't get oxygen, and the fact that there is not much oxygen in this compound, it makes it hydrophobic, meaning it does not like mixing with water. So we can have two situations like this. So in the first one, if you notice, there is no more vacancy. There is no vacancy. Whereas if you see the second one, there is a lot of vacancies. If you see here, there's a lot of vacancy. So where you don't have vacancy, this particular compound, this fat will be called saturated fat. Whereas a compound which has only one place vacancy, for example, let us say there were hydrogen everywhere, like that, hydrogen everywhere, but only one place it was vacant like this, that will be called mono unsaturated. Unsaturated meaning not full, and mono means one. So only one place there is a vacancy like this. Whereas if you were to look at if let us say there is multiple spot vacancy like this, instead of just one place we have multiple spot vacancy, then this will be called this will be called polyunsaturated. So this is how we classify fats or lipids, which is into saturated, monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated. You should remember, saturated fats are generally solid at room temperature, whereas unsaturated fats are generally liquid at room temperature. And you should also remember, the fats that are coming from animals, that means in the form of milk and egg and meat and all that, they contain a lot of saturated fats. Whereas those that come from the plant origin contain more unsaturated fats. This is something which you need to remember. Next, we have the vitamins and minerals. Let's talk about that. So if you look at the vitamins, Vitamins are generally given this alphabets A, B, C, D, E, like that. So out of these, all these vitamins, we classify it as fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. The fat soluble vitamins are vitamins A, D, E, and K, as you can see here. Whereas the vitamin B and the vitamin C are considered water soluble vitamins. Within B, we have multiple, like we have B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, like that. It goes on till B12. Together, they're called the B complex. Why we are putting it in these categories is because your fat soluble vitamins are only soluble in fat, they do not mix in water. Whereas water soluble vitamins perfectly mix well with water. So, your water soluble vitamins are generally lost through your body on a daily basis through urine and sweat. And that's the reason why you need to be consuming water soluble vitamins on a daily basis. Whereas fat soluble vitamins we need not consume on a daily basis. This is the significance of it.